Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big roster updates happening yesterday with Leviathan finally confirming that C0M is indeed going to join their roster, but also Zellsis with a few interesting words to say on Evil Geniuses going forwards. As John QT discusses the format for qualification for Masters Madrid, Zellsis says that if they lose to EG, a shambolic organisation as far as he's concerned, he will refuse to turn up for work the next day. Very much enjoying your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Congrats to Ben Kai and his, fiancé now. I thought this was really nice to see as well. Speaking of Masters Madrid though, tickets for it are set to go on sale on January the 12th. The event of course is taking place March 14th all the way through to the 24th at the Madrid Arena. Just to clarify, only 8 teams go to this event. It's the first Masters event of the season, and by this time there'll have been no normal regular matches or anything. It's just they play basically the qualification for it around the world, then they do Masters, then the season proper kind of begins. So the Americas is actually first. February the 16th is when the kickoff tournament starts in the Americas. So that's effectively when the season begins for these teams, which has been, let's be honest, right? There has been a long off season here. Pacific is the 17th, EMEA is the 20th, China's the 22nd, and then the qualification tournament runs through a few days for each of those regions, and at the end of it, 2 teams will come out on top and they get to go to Masters Madrid. People would say, and even Zellsis made this point in the episode we'll share a clip of briefly here in a second, that maybe because EG won champions, Americas should get 3 spots, or they should get an extra spot or something. And to be fair, that argument maybe makes sense, but not the case, of course. And it's just going to be 2 for the Americas, which is kind of crazy, right? The entire Americas, they are the strongest region on paper, and obviously there's North America, South America as well, Brazil, all those regions. Only 2 spots for Masters Madrid feels feels pretty tough, but it is a competitive one out there. I'm also not exactly sure how they're going from 11 down to 2, but I think we saw some kind of rumored brackets the other day where, based on the seedings from last year's World Championship, or potentially just last year's regular season, that will determine which teams have to, the 11th and 10th team, I guess, have to do some sort of like a playoff to even get in to the normal bracket. We'll see how they end up doing it. But again, 11 down to 2, and then obviously it begins basically on the 14th of March after that's all been determined. So we'll talk in a second here really about how the Sentinels guys reacted to this information, because clearly they weren't too aware of what the entire format was, apart from John QT, who actually explained it. Even Dirk, although not so happy that the new episode, right, episode 8 that's now in the game, the NA guys got a bit of a chance for it before EU did. A couple of things of it to mention here, for example, on the split, where Zellsis shows something that I don't think I've personally seen before, but I imagine this must have been in the game previously, because they haven't changed split. So I don't know why, this can't just have been in the game now from yesterday. Or maybe it is. I don't know. You guys seen this one before? But here you are on Raze. Use the satchel. Get on top of this thing. And to be fair, he is standing on something, right? It's not like he isn't standing on something. Like, he actually is standing on this, pipe here. So this maybe is a legitimate spot. I imagine they'll probably look to resolve this. But it's definitely an angle of all time here on this particular map. And, basically is asking Kaplan, hey, can I not please run the, Raze? Get Zekken off it. I'll run the Raze on this map. But Kaplan's like, no, we're not doing that. Zekken is going to stay on that role. There was also this from Zellsis, the first use of Outlaw, really. And, here we are with Outlaw. This gun is very strong, there's no doubt. The thing is with this weapon is it's going to be used, I think, definitely in some of the early rounds. Like, as an anti-eco weapon, it's so good because it does a 140 to the body. None of these shots, even that Zellsis hits here, are headshots. So it's not like you've got a headshot like you do with the Marshall. I mean, 140 to the body is just such a lot of damage, and it fires its second shot so quickly if you want to. Right here, Zellsis doesn't even need both bullets here. He just reloads with one, which actually reloads somewhat quicker, and he gets a nice little ace with it. But the fact that you can use it in, second, third round, for example, and then when the other team actually gets guns, it's still really strong as well. I think that's what makes this weapon potentially very viable right now. So we'll see over time what happens, but I know that Tens was talking about it, that he's definitely going to be trying it out in practice and seeing whether it's actually as viable as we might expect it to be, because the gun itself is definitely very powerful. The question is, how does it fit into the meta, I guess I would say. Couple of roster things here for you guys to go through. Firstly, from Will FPS, of course, formerly 100 Thieves, We remember when he was on that 100T roster, they got rid of him for cryo. Understandable decision, but Will was pretty good during the end of that season. It was kind of a shame, really. I thought they got rid of him, and of course it's been difficult for him since then, but he's returned from his break, and he plans to, compete again. No plans for the next few months, miss competing, wants to give it one last shot. So wishing the best for Will in the near future. But also, the confirmation arrived yesterday from LEV, that Com is joining the team. So they say, well, again, I don't really know. It's funny that they talked about this, because the fact that they were making it so obvious who their player was is almost kind of respectable, because usually teams, even if we know who their player is going to be, they usually try and pretend that we don't know, whereas they couldn't make it more obvious who was joining. And to be fair, by making it so obvious that it was going to be Com, that was going to join, such as tweets like this, it did make me think, damn, maybe they're going to get somebody else, because they're making it so obvious it's Com that maybe they're getting pANcada, but they're not getting pANcada. It was confirmed yesterday that Com is going to be joining. So, pretty wild. Not exactly sure still what exactly happened behind the scenes at LEV over the last few weeks for this to occur, but the belief seems to be that LEV management maybe realized that Com was going to be available, and therefore they decided that a team change was going to be made. Noswa was then gone. The players, generally speaking, don't seem too happy with this, but at the end of the day, it's not like Noswa couldn't come back again, but still, he's on the bench now. It doesn't seem like whoever made this call is going to change their mind, because when Noswa was benched and Aspas, for example, wasn't happy, they could have just said, all right, our mistake, we'll bring him back in. They could have done that. He's not like he's fired. He's still on the bench there, Nosra, over on that team. But no, they have got Com instead. So clearly there is a belief there internally at LEV that this is the way to go, that this team is going to be better with Com in instead of Nosra. And look, he's a world champion. Kind of wild in a way that, if you'd have told me a couple of years ago that LEV are building a super team with Aspas and all these other stars, and Com is going to be the man that they really want to go for to round out the team, I said, what's going on? But, that just shows what great player Com was last season. Of course, World Championship winner helps very much so as well. So we'll see if this works. But again, the team is kind of all over the place right now in terms of, nationalities and all this stuff. Of course, Ethan is happy for Com as well, joining this roster. Hopefully it works out for them. But, difficult for Nosra, of course, being in this situation. Then again, though, he's still on the bench. But look at all these various nationalities, right? King, Tex, Mazzino, Aspas, Com. That's now your starting five. Noswa on the bench. And look, whether this team is going to fall apart at some point, whether internally it's not going to work, at the end of the day, if Aspas and, maybe King or Mazzino, those guys didn't really want Com in and they preferred Noswa, then how's it going to work, right? Are they of the opinion that, they want to almost prove that Com's not a good idea to get Noswa back in? I don't know. But I definitely think that of any of the Americas teams that are ripe for some sort of blow up, definitely LEV are towards the top of that list. I think there's no doubt about it. Where exactly, though, do LEV stack up in the Americas in terms of who are the best teams? That's another question. And certainly, this is a question for where Evil Geniuses currently sits. We saw even the other day when there were rankings done by Demon 1 over the NRG side of where the teams should be rank ordered right now. They actually forgot a certain team. They just put 10 in there. They forgot Cloud9. And again, it feels very strange to have 11 teams in the league, which is what we currently have. We do have 11. So John QT was explaining the format here for how the qualification works into Masters Madrid, 11 down to 2 in the playoff tournament, or in the qualification tournament that happens kind of like a month from now or so. And Zellsis is like, what do you mean 11? I thought there was 10. Like, are EG no longer existing? But no, EG still do exist. They're forming a new team. There were rumors the other day that it was going to be Supermen and Derek were going to be involved in that roster. We'll see if that comes true when EG confirm their team, which is going to be happening sometime soon. But of course, Jorgmo is still there for now. But Zellsis seems to think that these guys are going to be so bad that, like he won't absolutely accept at any cost at all at losing to those guys.
For 3 weeks.
Well, actually,
there's no matches. Don't worry.
Can I just say?
Yeah,
I know.
Go ahead, man.
Well, all 11 teams will play like a playoff format on the 17th February.
There's not even 11 teams.
Huh? Yes.
Is there 11 teams?
There's 11.
I thought EG died, sorry.
EG is the most alive team in the world. What are you talking about?
It's just like a playoff format. 17 on the 17th.
They're gonna beat us.
And top 2 qualifies for Madrid.
Bro, if they beat us, I will not come in the
I'll
next
fuck
day.
myself.
Anyway, keep going, John.
I'll fuck myself.
No, keep going. Okay, so 11 teams. What is it?
11 teams. It's a playoff format. Top 2 qualifies to Madrid. Top 2 of each region.
So Demon 1 has gone to NRG, Ethan's gone to NRG, Bucio's now gone to 100T, Comma's gone to LEV, and Jorgamo, it seems, is still going to say. He's been still spotting their scrims over the last few days. Their roster is difficult for Jorgamo and for Potter, right? The only remaining members of that team. They've got to build another roster from the ground up here that's going to be competitive, because the expectation for EG is still going to be kind of high. I mean, they won champs last year. The move getting, Demon 1 in, building the team they built was a very questionable team, really, on paper. But they really deliver the goods, especially after BCJ was out, Demon 1 was in, and an incredible result. So the pressure is kind of on Potter in a sense to do it again, Okay, you did it last year with players that people weren't too familiar with. What about this time? It's time to deliver another phenomenal year, win another world championship. So they're expected to at least do something. But I think most players seem to think that each year just chalked, right? I mean, the team is going to be nowhere near as good as last year, and all things considered, it probably won't be anywhere near. Zellsis certainly reckons that there's no way they're going to lose to Evil Geniuses, because otherwise that would be absolutely embarrassing. So he's clearly not a fan of the roster they're putting together. We'll see what they do come up with, though, when I imagine that's going to be confirmed relatively soon. But again, it's not like it seems they are in a massive hurry, really. Just to close out with, I thought this is kind of cool from Willminder here. Top-rated international tournament performances in VCT history, entire tournament rating. So this is 11 down to 20th. We'll see the top ones here in a second. Tens is actually number 11 here with Masters Berlin 2021. I did also want to mention here that pANcada is sitting here at a 1.21 rating, which is in the ballpark of, Chronicle, Tokyo 2023, Demon 1, Champions 2023. So just to think that pANcada was here in Champions 2022, and now he's stuck on the bench of Sentinels, that's one of those things that people are not going to live down for anytime soon, really. These are the top players, though. That pANcada stats, that is the highest, rating any player from that team has had, really. I mean, if we look at the numbers here, the top guys now, still it's 10. So he's still the man to beat. Reykjavik 2021, that event will definitely live on in the memory. It's going to be tough to stop. That even Alpha this year at Tokyo only had a 1.31. Masters Berlin, yay, had a 1.3. Mako, even Leo at Tokyo. There were some good examples here. So, yeah, lots of Fnatic guys. Couple of guys on Gambit, of course, and back in the day. Pretty cool to see that Chronicles here in Masters Berlin 2021, and then Chronicles also here on Fnatic in Tokyo 2023. But still early days of Valorant history. But very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.